Yes, we are live. It is Monday night, 9 p.m. You know what that is. Monday Night Raw? No, it is CRB Live, and we are back with episode 2. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about after Capital Punishment 5 went down last Saturday, 2 nights ago, at an undisclosed location. 4 fire battles, a brand new champion, a whole lot to talk about, and I couldn't be happier for you to join. We're not going to talk about any of that bullshit going on in our city or in our world. We're going to use this as an escape, talk about what we want to talk about, which is battle rap, and more specifically, battle rap in the 613. And I'm your host, Prehistoric, Papa Pre. Without further ado, I just want to remind you to check out capitalrapbattles.ca, brand new website, got all kinds of merch. Go cop something and support the league, support the cause. And with that said, I want to bring on the one and only, never lonely, the co-host with the most, Mr. Frenchie Fresh. Come on down.
Yo, what's good?
There he is.
Fresh in the building. What is good? Prehistoric, man. So, man, Saturday.
Let's talk about it. We got a big show tonight. Tonight on the show, we've got brand new CRB champion Raiden Black. We got living legend Corey Charron. We're gonna get to those dudes in a minute, but I think Frenchie and I are gonna chop it out. Let's talk about last Saturday, because there was an energy in there that I missed, and I know that we talked about this off the air, that we kind of gave us new life, kind of an energy that was lacking. So how did you feel about the whole event, man?
It's like, without like talking about real life, we all know how the last couple months were, and so it was kind of like the motivation was kind of like although like shout out to King of the Dot, they've kept us entertained, but personally like the motivation wasn't there. And Saturday, man, like I don't know, man, I'm like 145% pumped, and 150% motivated. So yeah,
and it helps
that to everything, to CRB, to myself, to CRB, to its new beginnings, new everything. So like yeah, it's a big thing, man.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think it happened at the exact right moment before this shutdown too, which I know we're not going to talk about, but we got some stuff to work out. I think it helps that all 4 battles delivered too.
Yes, I agree.
We only had 4 battles, which if there's a couple stinkers on there, then fans could be walking away kind of with a sour taste in their mouth. But all 4 battles delivered.
Yeah, shout outs to the 8 men that battled too. Shout outs to them, because without those 8 guys, that's not possible. So yeah, shout outs to them. Yeah, they all came, and we had a good night for sure.
100%, man. So let's start with the first battle on the card. Actually, you know what? Before we even talk about the specifics, let's announce the performance of the night and battle of the night. Sorry, my audio is acting a little funky there, but hopefully it's coming through okay. So the battle of the night goes to, drum roll. It was the first battle on the card. It was Xavier versus NBS.
Yeah, man, they really set it off. Like, man, like I here's the thing, like, we know what NBS can do. He did come off like a performance that was but we knew, like, me knowing NBS, like we knew he had to bounce back, and he was going to. So and then Xavier, like I personally, I didn't have any expectations, because I didn't know. I was off. I was actually going off Santos' word. So that I was like, wow. And yeah, they both they went through all the material, like all the way through, no slips. Like they both put on a show, and yeah, it was, man, it was quite the battle to set off, man.
We needed a big battle to start off after that hiatus, and those 2 dudes delivered. I gotta say, I didn't know what to expect from Xavier, and he surpassed expectations. So shout outs to him, and shout outs to MBS for stepping back in there and doing what he does best. And I have high hopes for both of those dudes. So shout out to them. Battle of the night, performance of the night. I mean, you could have given this to a few people. At the end of the day, you really couldn't, because there was only one man who saved the day and came.
made the whole crowd just erupt. And
Yeah, there's just something. Anyway, the performance of the night goes to the one and only Pepe. So shout outs to him, coming all the way down from T-Dot, 3 days notice, battling a hungry up and comer and putting on a show and getting performance of the night. And frankly,
shout
he
out
deserves
Pepe
it.
because
So
he often answers the phone when we're in a, when we're in a situation where we're stuck, and he's came through a few times for us. So like, shout out to him for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk more about Pepe and about all these other dudes, but I mean, I gotta and shout outs to Samson and Disciple for a dope battle. But I want to talk about the title match because we got the champ here. And before we bring him on, let's just talk about the title match for a minute. So we had Teddy KGB, and we had Raiden Black, and we had a fucking fight right off the jump. Right off the jump. How did you score it? And were you surprised by anything in the battle?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer the second question first. The only thing that surprised me, honestly, was Teddy choking. That's the only thing that surprised me, because that's not something I see of Teddy ever. I know it happens, and then, it does happen. But that's the only thing that that I was like, oh man, like that. I was like, wow, like it actually happened. Because as far as them coming with it, I to sit here and say, oh, I'm surprised Raiden brought it would be ignorant of me, because Raiden has been,
he's been doing his thing.
It. So,
and I'll be real with you about the Teddy. I call it more of like a serious slip.
Yeah, sorry, I wouldn't say choke. It's just because I call it a choke because like Teddy doesn't.
With the title match, right? So things are amplified. Like in any regular battle, that's just a slip. But when the fucking stakes are that high and the battle's that close, it's the closing round. I mean, I think you've got to be honest with yourself. And yeah, I mean, it's a slip, a choke, whatever you want to call it. It disrupts it.
And to kind of answer your first question, going kind of touching that at the same time, is like I had it 1-1 going into the third.
Same.
And I kind of had a feeling I was like that was gonna cost Teddy, the match. And
I will say this,
right?
But
it's not even to take away anything from Raiden, because he was consistent all the way through the battle. So it's not even to take anything away from Raiden, because he brought it. And you can't. Teddy wasn't allowed to do any mistakes versus Raiden, and a mistake happened.
It was a mistake for sure. I will say this.
Not a mistake, but you know what I mean, like an error, or like to say the least,
He bounced back from it pretty well, though, and
he really did. Shout out. A lot of people can't bounce back the way he did, and he really came back strong. So,
well, that's what gave him a couple votes. It was a 3-2 decision. Exactly. Nonetheless. So we had a crazy battle. Raiden Black versus Teddy KGB. Raiden Black prevailed. That will be out on YouTube in the very near future. But without further ado, man, I want to bring on the new CRB champion, Raiden Black. Come on down, man.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up?
There he is, man. How you doing?
Feeling blessed, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, man. Same. Happy to be talking to the champ right now, man.
Absolutely.
So, I'm sure you heard Frenchie and I breaking it down. Let's get your thoughts on the battle. How did you think, or what did you think of the judges' scoring? Did you agree that it was a tight battle, kind of a 2-1, or like did you disagree? What's your take on how it was judged?
I mean, yeah, man. I mean, if you were to ask me, like, I could possibly agree that Teddy took the first round. I ain't gonna lie. I thought my round was good, but he came out. That was the best round I've heard Teddy spit, in my opinion. Yeah. I feel like just bounced back, man, because he had me a little shaken at first, but I told myself, calm down, be real, and let's just get these 2 rounds back, you know. And I felt like I took both of those 2 rounds clearly at the end. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Fair play. I think that's a veteran mindset. I also think that that's pretty accurate. I gave Teddy the first round. I said you had a really solid first round. It was fucking solid. And then he came out swinging and totally took the momentum. And in my opinion, it was a 10-9 round, but it was clear. And then the opposite happened in the second round. You fucking heated up. You heated up and got real comfortable. And he did well, but his angles didn't hit the same way. You know, Paul Rich broke it down a little bit. It was viewed by some as not the most original angles or bars, which, you know, we could debate that all day. But you clearly won the second. Going into the third, 1-1, and shit, history speaks for itself. You gave a flawless performance, and Teddy had a great performance, but there was that slip. And at the end of the day, only one man can hold the belt on their shoulder tonight, and it's you, man. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. So let's talk for a minute here, because you've been battling a long fucking time, and it's been well documented that you've had your ups, you've had your downs, and now you're having your biggest up ever. Tell us about that journey, man. How does it feel to be, you know, having, you know, coming off some tough losses over the years to going on a crazy streak, winning a tournament, having a title match against Paul Rich, not going your way, and then staying the course and bouncing back and now holding that gold on your shoulder? What's the journey been like?
Hey man, it's always a hard journey, and it's not over yet. You know, like I've been doing this. Obviously, you've seen me been doing this for a very long time, but like I love this shit. You know what I mean? This is what I like to do. This is what I wanted to perfect my art. Like I wanted to perfect everything with my art when it comes to battle rap and stuff like that. And I got that passion, right? And like I feel like that a lot of people who went through what I went through would have given up by now. You know what I mean? They would have given up. Like if you lose like 6-7 battles in a row, you would have given up. But I didn't give up. So here I am today with the belt, and like I earned it. And I was saying this earlier. It's like when we're gonna talk about contenders and who may be up for the belt next against me, well, you gotta earn that shit. You gotta work for that shit like I did. You don't be a part-time rapper and think that you can get a fucking title shot. Okay, it doesn't work like that. Same with if you battle like once like every 2 years, you don't get a title shot. You gotta fucking earn that shit, bro. And that's what I'm looking for in the next contender. I want the best. I want somebody who wants it, you know?
Facts, man. No, I mean, I can see somebody in the chat. It was a really nice moment after the battle. There was an interview, and you were talking to your son, and he was watching on the live, and it was a real genuine moment. But yeah. People want to know, man, how was the pizza party, man? How was the pizza party with this? Was it fucking everything that he had hoped for? Tell us.
Yeah, so he wanted the meat lovers, right? Meat lovers and chicken wings. So we went with Willie's, and when it came, it was a little greasy at the top. So you know, you put a little paper towel over it, just you know, save yourself from a fucking heart attack at 31 years old. And then we enjoyed that pizza, man. It was great. And he was happy.
Shout out to Willie's, man. Free plug. Maybe we'll get you free pizza for life if CRB really takes off and we take it to the next level.
Maybe the Willie's. I could use a sponsor. You know, maybe Willie's will be down.
Hey, man, stranger things have happened. So, I mean, it was a great night. I'm so proud of you, man. I've seen you come up from the jump. I watched you battle K-Dub at Ritual. Fucking a decade ago.
I was there.
Fuck, that was a long time ago. You know what? It's funny because I remember that I took that battle on very short notice, and obviously, like I didn't win that battle, but I remember the third time that King of the Dot went to Ottawa, and I remember that they didn't holler at me that time, and I took that to heart, and that's when my beast mode journey began, and then I was battling in beast mode, kind of figuring out like if I'm any good or not. It was a rough fucking road there, but you know, I pushed through and moved around, and capital rap battles happened, and here I am, bro.
Here you are, man. Here to stay. We got about 2 more minutes with you. Frenchy Fresh, do you have anything to ask the champ, man, or are are you content just letting this man hold that gold around his shoulder and talk?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a statement. I mean, you're only the second guy to be the champs. You know, that's a big deal. It's only you and Poe. You know.
Yeah, I was just saying, we gotta meet up and see if we can get my name on this belt too, right? So.
Oh, it's going on. It's inevitable now.
Make that happen right beside Poe Rich, I guess, and that'll look good, right?
It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. And we'll definitely get that name. The question is, how long will it be on there for? That now it's a whole new chapter. They say it's hard to win the belt, but some people say it's harder to keep the belt, man. And I look forward to you taking on the next challenger. Now I know what you said earlier about the next challenger needs to deserve it, and that's very valid. But looking at the landscape of CRB right now and everything and all these guys, in your opinion, who do you think is the most likely candidate or a couple candidates for you to defend that title against down the road?
Wow. Well, honestly, at the moment, it's a weird situation because of the whole COVID crisis and, the battle rappers not being able to battle, or there's battle rappers who you could have considered a contender, but, they kind of just faded away and never really put the work in. So, you know what? I don't really have any names I can come off the top of my head right now, but I think that will probably change in maybe the next 3 months or something like that. And I'm hoping to see some cards get put together maybe after this whole bullshit, kind of gets a little easier for us. And yeah, man, let's put some cards together. Let's see who's the next contender. And to me, right now at this moment, it does not matter. I'm ready for some of the best, you know what I mean? So I'll be ready. I'll be ready for whoever.
No, I think that's totally fair.
I have a question. Are you going to be active? Doesn't mean you got to put your title on the line, but are you going to stay active in between title defenses? Are you going to lay back or?
Yeah, so if the gods are good, I'd like to be as active as I can. I'm hoping to defend the belt at least 4 times into 2021. If the gods are good and all that shit. All right. And I'm hoping I'm hoping to make some guest appearances too and rep CRB and maybe get some super battles in, I've seen some guys get some pretty good battles, some pretty good names. Maybe if the borders open up, maybe I can get a good name too, and I can branch out a little bit too.
Yeah, no doubt. We're gonna talk and figure all that out. And I think you're right. The next event is going to be pretty telling, and there could be a new challenger emerging, but only time will tell. But it's just exciting because, frankly, if you want to relate it to MMA, I mean, maybe I'm going to give Rich his flowers right now. He had an amazing run, and it's almost like a Khabib stepping away because the dude hadn't lost a battle in X amount of time, and now it's wide open. And you got the title, and you've been on a fucking crazy streak, and they're gonna have to pry that from you. But it's wide open, and you couldn't say that a few months ago. Anybody could come off of a crazy performance or two and be right up in title contention. So that should be very motivating for all you aspiring challengers out there. So it's an exciting time for CRB, and I just want to reiterate, I couldn't be happier for you, man. Congratulations. And we'll definitely be talking to you more on the show as the weeks go by.
Thank you, man. I just want to say one last thing, If you guys want the belt, come and fucking get it.
All right. I like it, man. Thank you, Raiden Black. Appreciate you. This is episode 2. I know we'll have you back. Peace, my man. Have a great night. Enjoy that pizza.
Merry Christmas, all that stuff.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Peace.
Have a good one, man.
Well, there you have it. The CRB champion, Raiden Black. Fuck, man, he looks mighty comfortable with that belt. I don't know who's gonna take it off, but
he looks comfortable. He looks hungry, which is which is awesome.
Absolutely. Speaking of comfortable, we are blessed to have a very, very established battler joining us, and also one of the judges from last Saturday night's main event. And pretty much everyone watching this show knows who he is, so I'm not going to give him that long-winded introduction because you already know who the fuck it is. It is the one and only Corey Charron. Charron, come on down.
Yo, what's up? You guys hear me?
Yeah, man, we can hear you.
What's happening?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. I was excited to judge the title match, man. It was definitely a great battle.
Yeah, tell me about that. Like, I don't know how much. Well, first of all, before we even get into that, have you done a lot of judging? I mean, I know you've done a lot, everything else, and you're fully qualified. But have you judged a lot of battles over the years?
Not too many. I don't like. I was excited to judge, but also at the same time, I don't like judging close battles. Like, to me, that was like a coin toss decision because both of them did great, and like, I don't like saying someone lost and then it's awkward. Like, you see them later and stuff. Like, yo, my bad, I voted against you and shit. Like, it's kind of awkward. But
Totally.
I mean, I was at my family's house. My sister just got a new house. So I was at her housewarming party and I snuck away to watch the battle quickly. And like, I was telling them after, I'm like, I hope I made the right decision because it was like a title match. It was a big battle. And like, I wasn't confident on who to pick. Like, it was like, I was switching between one and the other before you asked me. Like, it was that close. So
Yeah.
I don't judge too much, but it's super tough when it's a preference battle and they both do their thing.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. And I know you went on the live stream after and gave your opinion and backed up your decision. And you did vote for Raiden Black 2-1, which 3 other judges did. But if you don't mind, we just talked to Raiden, and a lot of these people watching probably watched the title match. Give me a breakdown of how you saw the battle go down and where the difference was. Was it the third round? Was it the slip, or was it bigger than that?
So I don't even like. There's not even really a criteria for judging battles. It's not like MMA where you hand in a scorecard at the end of every round. So I judge it on the overall performance of the battle, and there is a chance that Teddy got the first 2 rounds very close, but at the end of each round, I wasn't like, okay, this person definitely won. I think like the first round, maybe I thought Teddy won. The way I break it down is this: I thought Teddy had better personals and better character assassination, which I'm a fan of. So he was breaking down, you've lost all these battles. You went on this losing streak. No one loses more than you. And you had a huge angle about he fucks up so many bars and he chokes a lot. And I was like, yo, if Raiden Black has like a stumble near the end of the battle, that's going to make the angle hit way harder. But then Teddy had the big fuck up of the battle. Wasn't like the worst choke ever, but I mean, like, if there was a stumble or someone who buckled under pressure, it was Teddy, and his whole angle was about how Raiden always fucks up. So I was like, man, that kind of like negates a lot of his angle to Raiden Black, which was like the majority of his attack was about how he loses so much and he fucks up so much. So that was really the deciding factor to me. I think Raiden did excellent and had like the best bars of the battle, even though they weren't direct. But I remember like the big O'Toole line he had and Rikishi clapping, and then he had some line in the third. I forget what it was, but it's a like expose this pussy, and then there's a reference that sounded really good. So it was tough, but I think if Teddy got his material out, I probably would have edged him the battle, if that makes sense to the people watching.
It makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's a really fluid breakdown of what went down on Saturday. So no, I appreciate you judging. We had a crazy judging panel. I mean, of course, we had you, Charron, who's one of the biggest names in battle rap, rep in the 613, and we also had Paul Rich, former King of the Dot champ. We had Joey Gambello, we had Pepe, and we had Pathogenic. So we had 5 really credible judges, which I really like, and I am going to insist that we have for all title matches and pretty much all battles going forward, because it really put the battlers at ease, knowing that they were in good hands. And I think what happened, and I think it played out smoothly. So I really appreciate you taking the time, or especially around the holidays, to judge that battle. You didn't have to do that, so thank you for that, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt. It was definitely a good battle, and both of them killed it. And definitely looking forward to see the next title match. And I would, if Raiden got a win or two defending it, I wouldn't be mad at seeing a rematch with Teddy, because he's definitely more than qualified to get that belt someday.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe you want to come and take a shot at that belt. No, I'm just
maybe. Who knows?
well, fuck, man. Never say never, man. Let's see what the next few years bring. But wouldn't that be something? Well, speaking of which, that's a natural transition, because everyone knows that you're from Ottawa and you represent CRB now and hold us down. But it really all started with a battle at last year's Capital Punishment against Chrome. And now I'm going to kind of transition off of this year's title match and just talk to you, because I haven't really talked to you about that battle. And that's CRB's biggest battle by far in history, views-wise and caliber-wise. So let's go back to last October and talk about your battle with Chrome for a minute. Like, tell me about, like, what was it like? I mean, it seems foreign because we actually had a massive crowd, which I totally missed, which obviously we can't to this day. But what was it like battling in front of your people and your family and your friends, and was that pressure different, or was it just another day at the office?
Man, first of all, it just seems so weird that was a year ago. I still remember when we met up for a pint and we were talking about the battle and the contract and everything. That seems like it was like 5 or 6 months ago. It does not seem like it was over a year ago. That's insane.
I know.
It was weird. You know what? It was less pressure because I literally felt like I was going out there like super hot fly, and like the crowd was gonna carry me no matter what. Usually when I do battles, for the most part, it's like it's an away game. Like, they don't have the Toronto battles too much anymore with King of the Dot, and I'm usually battling, in Boston, or I'm battling in LA, or somewhere in the New York region. So it was cool to battle at home, and I just knew that I'm a firm believer in less is more, and I haven't battled at home in like 7 or 8 years at that time, and like people were just dying to see me live, like friends and family. So I knew I had to deliver a good performance.
Well, that you did, man. It was pretty fucking epic. And Chrome delivered too, because you need a dancing partner. If it's just a beatdown, then people aren't going to talk about it. And Chrome did his thing, and I think Chrome was the perfect opponent for you. Not only because he was a hungry up and comer, but also the whole Montreal versus Ottawa angle. It was something that really hadn't been done a whole lot, so I really enjoyed that element of it. Tell me a bit about how you thought Chrome did against you, the angles that he chose, particularly his third round, which most would say. I mean, the general consensus is you won that battle. I'm not here to say whether that's true or not, but you did. But I do think that Chrome had an incredible performance against you. And did you know Chrome before that battle? Did you have to do a lot of research, or tell us about that whole relationship and what you thought of him?
Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with Chrome before. I wasn't like cool, like I was definitely cool with him, but I wasn't like tight, like friends with him before the battle. Like, we were just acquaintances, you could say. But after the battle, like, we definitely became friends, and like we talk about battle rap and other shit too. So he's definitely the homie now. But yeah, I thought he did great, and like I really feel like there was only so much he could do in my hometown. Like, I even said before the battle, like when we were standing on stage waiting for the cameras and everything, like I was like, don't mind the crowd, man. And he was like, yeah. Like I said something like that because I knew they weren't, gonna give him the appropriate reaction, and they're gonna overhype a lot of things I was saying. So I think he did great. And his third round angle about, CRB and I wasn't at any events before or anything. I thought it was great, and how he tied in Capital Punishment, and I thought he put on a great performance and took some amazing angles.
Yeah, fair enough, man. And it's nice to hear you appreciate your opponent like that. Now, like, it's not every day that we get to, you know, talk to somebody who's so high up in the game and who has so much experience. It's crazy. Like, for me, I mean, I've known you a long time, and back in the day, it was like, oh, he's this up and comer, you know, watch out for this up. And then now it's like, I mean, you're still a young man, but there's not a whole lot you haven't done. As you battled pretty much everyone, minus a few. You've gone for the King of the Dot title. You've traveled the world. Like, what keeps you hungry? Like, how long do you plan on doing this for? Is it just like, you know, there's no end in sight, or do you see an end to this? And is there other things you want to do? Like, where are you at with your battle career?
Definitely an interesting question. And like, for me, I've always said that, like, I just love doing this. Like, it's something that I enjoy doing. And, you know, there's a lot of people that get enjoyment of what I do. Like, I get a lot of messages from people that say, like, oh, you know, I was stressed out during the pandemic and I went on, like, a binge watching some of your battles. Thanks for the entertainment. And, like, that's what really keeps me going and keeps me hungry. And then, like, you know, like, I'll show up to an event and sometimes, you know, like, mostly like the world domination events, and there's people like, yo, I just flew from Sweden or Australia and you were the person I wanted to see the most. I'm like, oh shit, like, this person took a
Crazy.
huge, you know, like a huge trip financially and time wise, and like they really want to see me battle. So I just, like, I never want to be that person that just comes and does a battle for a check and bounces and, like, doesn't really take it serious. That's never been, you know, something that I've done. And, like, I definitely want to keep going until I feel like um that battling is hurting my legacy, if that makes sense. Like, you know, like, I'm not up to par of what's good these days, or if I fell off, that's when I would quit. But as long as people still rank me as someone that's, you know, doing their thing, and people still get enjoyment out of my battles and I still enjoy doing it, then I don't really see myself stopping.
That's a great answer, and I think it's like there's always a lot of parallels with MMA and battling because it's combative, and but the difference is, like, in fighting, like, your skill set, you know, deteriorates because of aging. But that's not the case with battling. In fact, you get smarter the longer you're involved. So I personally think, like, you're probably still improving as a battler, and that's the scary part. And anyone who's going to battle you next should probably be concerned. So I'm happy to hear you say that, you know, that there's no fucking end in sight, because there's always going to be a next guy and a next guy. And there's a couple of guys, and one in particular that I want to talk about, Disaster, who, in my opinion, is the perfect foil to you, the perfect battle. There's a built-in storyline. There's years in the making. The most important thing is, I'm not alone. The fans want to see it. That's what the fans want. And I know Disaster a little bit, not that well. I met him 2 times, 3 times. But I've asked him off camera about you, and he always gave respect. But it seems like the energy has changed lately, and there's unless I'm interpreting it, there's some animosity on his side. And is that a battle you want? Is that a realistic battle that could happen, or is that just going to be one that slips away, like Tony Ferguson versus Khabib?
So funny you said that. I was, like, literally thinking of that example too.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, me and Diz will happen. That's a guarantee, because it's the battle that my fans have requested. Like, it's not like I actively hate Diz, or, you know, am desperately need to battle him. I make posts on Facebook and Instagram that say, like, who do you want to see me battle the most? And it was Pat Stay for the longest time, and then I made the battle happen, and then it was probably in no order, or in order was probably Diz and Rome next for, like, you know, the top 3 that they wanted to see. Made the Rome battle happen. He came out of his, I wouldn't say retirement, but his, like, 2-year hiatus. made that happen. And a lot of people were saying that was like the top 1 or 2 battles of last year for King of the Dot. And then the next battles people want to see from me are like Diz, and I think like Iron Solomon. I don't know. I think he may be retired. I don't know about Iron Solomon, but I guarantee me and Diz will happen because it's like my most requested battle, and I'll make sure it happens because that's what my fans want to see the most.
Where would you want that battle to happen if you had your say? Honestly,
California.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else because like me and A-Word, for example, it still turned out good and I liked it, but it happened in England. And I thought that was a cool place for it to happen because he's from Kansas City, so there's not really a division there. I'm from Toronto, so like that wouldn't be fair to battle in Toronto. And
Whoa, where are you from?
Ottawa, but Toronto reps me too. It's Canada, like Canada.
I had to check you.
It's like when the Toronto Raptors were in the finals. They're like Nova Scotia was cheering for them.
No doubt. I'm busting balls.
But yeah, I'm from Ottawa. I know you had to check me on that.
Yeah.
But for Diz, it's like I find Diz is just one of those people that does have like excuses. Like he'd be like, "Oh man, the crowd gang, ambushed me in Toronto. The energy wasn't right. The vibe, I knew it." And like,
there's too many cigarettes.
Yeah, he even had the cigarette. Like I told them to stop smoking, and like I just feel like if I battled him and I got more crowd reaction in England or in Toronto, that that would be like, oh, Diz would smoke him in LA, and it's like I'd rather just go out to LA or Oakland or whatever and just battle him and like if I win they can't say anything. It's like it's like when Jonai went to there and Diz smoked him, it made Jonai look bad and stuff. But if that battle would have happened in like Detroit or somewhere else, it would have probably Disaster still would have won material wise, but it would have looked different. So I'm gonna go there at the huge disadvantage. His whole squad's gonna want him to win. They're going to overhype everything, and I'm just going to have to really work them and win. And, like, I think it'll make a good battle. I think it's just, like, the best place for it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you and Diz make so much sense. You and Diz in California make so much sense. I mean, let's talk about the King of the Dot tournament. You're both, like, everyone, including myself, like, our dream was the final for 50 Gs. Disaster versus Charron. Like, it was right there, but like it wasn't meant to be. Like, and frankly, maybe it's better off that it's going to happen at a different time, not during a pandemic, but nonetheless, it was on the table, so people were talking about it. I want to talk about your participation in the tournament, but just to wrap up on Diz, the last thing, because he had some controversial wins. He beat Frack, he beat Thesaurus, and then he beat I forget the fella's name, and he was dope. Family Man Hayes, I believe. Sorry. Yeah. He got the win there. Those are the 3 wins, and all of them were highly disputed online. How did you think that he won those battles, or it didn't really make sense to me that there was a bias considering the judges were not really, except for the first round, which I want to hear your thoughts on. Like, what was your take on his path to the semifinals?
I mean, I don't think there's much of a debate in the first battle. I think Frack won. I mean, Frack was really good, and Diz was just like wasn't a motivated Diz. Like, I think Diz is better than Frack, but I think Frack won the battle, and Frack did really good. Thesaurus battle, I had Thesaurus winning, but he ended off on a choke, like he jerseyed or whatever you would call it. So I could see why he didn't win that battle. And then I actually missed the Family Man Hayes battle. I didn't see it, so I can't comment on that.
All right, fair enough. Well, no, we've talked a lot about Diz. That battle will happen. Can't wait for it. But let's talk about. And I know we don't have you for too long, and I appreciate your time. But let's talk about your battles in the tournament. You battled Shoddy P in the first round, killed it. I absolutely smashed that one out of the park. And then you battled Marv 1 in the second battle, and you did well in it. And Marv did really well, and Marv got the W. I want to talk about the Marv battle and get your thoughts on it, because me, as someone who I don't know, I understand the game a little bit. I'd like to think. I feel like the format, and correct me if I'm wrong, the format and the time limits factored in to the approach and presentation. And am I crazy for saying that? Or like, because you're so heavy on rebuttals and you can rebuttal better than anyone in the world, but if you choose to rebuttal, that's going to eat into your time and yada yada. It could be a snowball effect. So tell me about, like, what did you think of the format, and did it affect you, or am I just crazy?
No, it's definitely a good point. And like, the way I look at that battle is, and I do think this, I'm not going to be shitting on King of the Dot the way they formatted the tournament, but when you have, it's not just a judge battle, that's fine, but when you have $50,000 on the line and you have people battling in someone else's hometown, there's just going to be a bias. Especially when it's a pandemic and there's a 30-person capacity, and you just bring in your friends and your family, there's going to be a bias when there's $50,000 on the line. So I knew when I was battling Marv there that he was going to get more crowd reaction, and I wasn't going to get much crowd reaction, if not any. And I figured Marv's got such a slow pace delivery that if I just went rapid fire and sped up my delivery and got in like twice as much material, that they would just, the judges online would be like, Charron just, was doing more in the battle. He landed more punchlines and stuff. And that was the way that was the strategy for it. I did watch it back, and I do agree that my delivery was rushed and wasn't how I usually would do it, but maybe that's something I'll have to think about in my next battle in that format to slow it down. It was just an idea that I had because I figured I wouldn't be getting much reaction there anyways in the format. So it kind of did mess with my style a bit more. If there was a crowd there, I would have delivered the way I usually would have if there was 100 or 200 people there to land haymakers. But it was a small room battle, and you're not really getting much reaction when you're an out of towner and there's 50,000 on the line. That's the way I look at least. I think like it would have made more sense if we were battling in like LA or somewhere. But I definitely feel like it was like I had a fair chance and I could have won, and it was a 3-2 split decision with like a 1% fan vote difference. So it was close.
Well, I voted for you, buddy, and I got to admit, I probably would have voted for you even if I thought you lost. But I can say that it was a good battle. I have to say, Marv won. That was probably the best Marv I'd seen in a long time. Clearly, that's a respect thing. He knew that he had to become, or he had to come correct, and he certainly did. He had really a smart approach. His delivery was good. It wasn't too slow either. It was calculated, and he's never going to rap fast, but it wasn't too slow, which sometimes I would say that he's been victim of. So it was a good approach. I mean, it's a razor tight loss to a legend, so it doesn't do anything to hurt your legacy. But I think it's going to be really cool when those battles that happen in the tournament come out on YouTube and people rewatch them and get to chop it up about them some more.
Definitely, yeah. It was a good learning experience, and I feel like it'll just make me better. I don't know how long this format's gonna last. With it all depends on the vaccines and how they work. We still don't know anything about those yet. So, it's a good learning experience, and I feel like I'll slow it down a bit more in my next battle.
Fair enough. All right, man. Well, we're coming to the end here, and I know I'm gonna wrap up, but the last thing I want to talk to you about is, staying on the topic, the finals is set. It's Saint versus Marv 1 on King of the Dot. I got huge respect for King of the Dot. We have a great relationship with them, so I have no problem plugging them. You can check that shit out. I want to hear who you think is going to win the finals between Saint and Marlboro and why.
I could barely hear you. I don't know if you guys could hear me, but I heard the question, but it's super staticky. I got Marv winning, even though I know it's insane sometimes and everything. I just think that's static. I think Marv is just, he's got the wave right now, and I just feel he's the top. This could be wrong. Saints still too. I wouldn't bet any money on it because I'm not sure. They're both great, but I'd pick Marv just off of. I think more people want to see Marv win right now. You know, he's been in the game for a while, so I'll pick Marv.
Can you guys still hear me? Sorry about that. Looked like we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but hopefully you could hear the most of it, most of that. Hopefully you can still hear me. I think we've covered everything that we were going to cover. Just want to say appreciate Raiden Black for being on. Appreciate you, Charron, for being on. That was some great insight, and I know we'll talk more down the road as we see how your 2021 develops, and of course Frenchie Fresh, Jugga, everyone involved at CRB, and everyone who was involved at Capital Punishment 5. Shout outs to you. Go to capitalrapbattles.ca, buy some merch to support the cause. Be safe. Merry Christmas. That's it, man. Anybody else have anything to say before we close up?
Yeah.
Yo, peace. Thanks for tuning in. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a great night. Yeah. Frenchie?
Frenchie?
Nah. Okay. What's up? Frenchie's like, nah, he done.
All good. Hey, it went pretty smoothly for the most of it. Of course, a few technical difficulties towards the end. Sorry about that. I'm sure we'll figure it out. But overall, that was super dope. Forget Monday Night Raw. Mondays are now. CRB Live, 9 p.m. See you next week. We'll let you know who's come on in a few days. Merry Christmas, guys.